Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kim Santos if you're new, and today's video is a foundation review / comparison. I have the Sephora Perfection Mist Foundation and also the Dior Airflash Foundation. I thought I would test them out because this one is $35 and this one is $80. I wanted to see if there was a big difference between the two because an $80 foundation, that better do a lot for me. This is the most expensive foundation I own. I got this for Christmas because I've been wanting it for a long time because I wanted to see if it's really that good. And also, I heard a lot of things about this Sephora foundation and how it's very comparable to the Dior. So I thought, you know what, let's try it out. I'm gonna review both of them and let you know if this is worth 80 bucks. Now, I couldn't find anything from the drugstore that was really a dupe for either of these foundations. If we can get this $35 one to be a dupe for the Dior, that would be amazing. Both of these foundations have high ratings at Sephora, so we're gonna test it out. We're gonna get into this video, but before we do that, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button and let's get into it. Okay, so before I start doing all my makeup and the foundation review, let's just talk about the foundations first. So, the Sephora brand Aerosol Foundation. The finish of this foundation is supposed to be a flawless matte satin finish. So it's supposed to be matte, but not so overly matte where it's drying. Apparently it is 10 hours wear, waterproof, it is fragrance free, and formulated without mineral oil. The shade range for this foundation, it looks better than the one for the Dior, but it is still not there and it is still not good. There is 12 shades. Now, is these shades good? Probably not the best shade range. Honestly, there's a couple dark, there's a lot of light, there's a lot of tan ones, but it definitely could use some work. It's better than the Dior one from First Impressions for sure. I think nowadays every single makeup line could work on their foundation range. You know, there's 7 billion people on this planet. Is there really the perfect match for every single person on this planet? No. So I think that every single makeup line can improve their foundation shades, but some need a little bit more work than others. So it just comes in this little can right there. The color is a stripe on the top. I'm in the color medium, just plain old medium. And then when you open it up, the little top of the aerosol can, I'm gonna spray some onto my hand. It feels very like smooth, not too thick, but pretty smooth. It doesn't feel very liquidy. It kind of like feels like a powder after it's settled into my hand. So the price for the Sephora Perfection Mist Foundation is in Canadian dollars, 35, and US dollars, 28. Definitely the more affordable option out of the two. So now we have the really shishi poo poo expensive foundation that we are testing out. We are looking at the Dior Skin Airflash Foundation. Now this foundation retails for 80 bucks Canadian. Ooh, it hurts to say that. This is definitely the most expensive foundation I own for sure and probably will ever own. And then also in US dollars, it retails for 62. It comes in a fancy box, so does that kind of make it more expensive than the Sephora one? I don't know. But anyways, so this is an aerosol foundation as well. What I was looking at formula-wise, its aim is to be very light coverage but very airbrush. So it's not gonna be heavy. And the shade range for this, it is bad. There are 11 shades in this foundation, one less than the Sephora brand, but they're not spread out as evenly as the Sephora brand one is. There's 10 shades that look lighter and then one that kind of is dark. 600 is the darkest shade for this foundation, and even the light foundations, there's not something so light. Nothing that would suit very pale or very deep skin tones. There is some good news about the shade range for this foundation. They're going to be expanding it for the springtime, so there will be more shades in the spring. It shouldn't be like that. It kind of, if you're gonna release a foundation, you should have all your shades at once or a good shade range and then build on later. Just thought I would put that out there. The packaging for this foundation looks a little bit more bougie. Well, I would hope so since you're paying 80 bucks. But you know, you take off the lid, kind of a similar style because it is aerosol. Now we're gonna spray it. Oh, hello. It's the color on my hand right there. This one feels very like liquidy, but soft on the skin. This one definitely has a smell to it. Unlike the other one, it didn't smell like anything. This one smells not as strong as other foundations. Like the Huda Beauty one, it has a really strong scent to it. This one is a little bit lighter, so that's good if you're not too into scents. But this one feels more liquidy, more soft in a sense. So now I'm going to start applying these foundations to my face. I've already moisturized my skin, but I need to go in with primer. I'm just using a primer that I always use. You know, I know how it works. It works pretty well with all my foundations. So if anything goes wrong, it's the foundation's fault and not the primer. The primer I'm going to be using is the YSL Touche Éclat Blur Primer. I'm gonna squeeze a little bit on my palm, on my fingertips. It's very smoothing, but not very silicone. Like there is silicone to this, but it's not as drying as the Benefit Professional. I know a lot of people like that one, but I feel like sometimes it can get really cakey on my skin. Because I'm on the drier side, I'm gonna clip my hair back because I have a feeling this is going to get messy. It's an aerosol foundation. This is like putting spray paint on my face, but it is okay to put on my face. It's not toxic for the most part. And that's one thing too I want to see with these foundations, how messy they can get and how much product you're losing. So on this side of my face, I'm going to be using the Sephora brand aerosol foundation. And on this side of my face, the Dior Skin Airflash. So to apply my foundation, I think what I'm going to do is on this side of my face, like the lower half, I'm going to apply it with a brush. And on the forehead area, I'm going to apply it with a beauty blender because I really want to see how this foundation performs with different tools. I'm going to zoom you in and let's just get started. Okay, hi, what's up? Hey. Okay, so we're going to start the application. So I'm just going to shake it up. Shake, 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 shake. We're about to do some graffiti on this mug I call my face. I'm gonna spray. We're gonna do this together. Okay, that got near my eye. It feels cold. So I'm gonna start to buff that out. Just put a little bit. I think I could use a little bit more coverage. I'm gonna try spraying a little bit closer. Oh, it's cold, guys. It's a nice hit of cold air. This definitely could stain your clothes and get messy if you're wearing white, so maybe do your makeup before you get dressed, or, you know, wear something that you don't really care about getting makeup on. So I think what I'm gonna do next to build up that coverage near my nose area and this cheek area, oh, it feels so soft. Guys, it feels nice. Okay, anyways, so this cheek area on both sides of my face, it's the most red. So there's a lot of like red pigment from my skin irritation and just like acne scars. So what I'm gonna do is spray it onto the brush. Okay. And I'm gonna stipple it. And from what I'm noticing, it looks very smooth and blurred. I'm kind of impressed so far. So now I'm going to do my forehead. I'm gonna spray it onto my skin first, and if I have to build up the coverage, I'll spray it on my beauty blender. I don't know if that's a good thing because I feel like it might soak up the product, but we're just gonna try it out. Okay, we're gonna apply with Le Beauty Blender. I feel like it'll obviously soak up more product, but it applies really nicely too. Like there's no marks of the beauty blender, nothing too major. I'm gonna spray onto the beauty blender. I don't know if this is a good idea. Quickly work. Okay, and that is my face with the Sephora Perfection Mist Foundation. I like the application better with the brush for sure, but with the beauty blender, it wasn't bad either. It just, you had more coverage and control with the brush. It's settled. It kind of feels like soft, like a powder, but not powdery. So I'm gonna move on to the Dior side of my face, and let's just get it started. So first things first, I'm gonna shake the foundation. I'm gonna spray it directly on my face with the Dior one. Okay, this one definitely has a stronger pump, like a stronger mist. Oh my god. We're gonna start going in and blending it out. I think it's a little bit lighter too, but okay. I definitely can see it get messy, yeah. And this foundation looks so much more luminous as well. And now I'm gonna spray on the brush. Okay, not as matte. I'm gonna cover my eye a little bit. I look like a ghost. And you can definitely see the shade. They kind of are just like a touch off for color. Now I'm gonna move on to my forehead with the Beauty Blender. So I'm gonna directly apply this. I'm so scared. Okay, good. Oh, it's kind of bubbling. Do you see that? Like that big patch of foundation? Okay. Didn't happen with the other one, but maybe I put too much product on? That could be the case. Yeah, this one is definitely lighter. It kind of looks like a better winter match for me for sure. I'm gonna go in my nose area a little bit right here. I don't think I'm gonna have to go back in and spray it onto the blender. So I've got pretty good coverage with this. I'm just blending all over my face. My lips are covered in foundation too. Okay, so as you can see, there is 2 different colors on my face. So I've let the foundations dry on my face, and what I can tell is the Dior side is definitely more wet. I've let it dry down the same amount of time, but it kind of still feels a little sticky. That's kind of natural. I haven't set it with powder or anything, but with the Sephora side, it definitely has a powder finish to the aerosol foundation. It feels a little bit more drier, but soft. Not dry as in it's gonna make your skin like completely crumble and crust underneath. It just has a softer touch and it's dry. Overall though, just the appearance they have on my skin is that airbrush, very blurred out finish that they do claim. It really does work. But I think the Sephora side has a little bit more coverage than the Dior. Plus the Dior, there's a luminous feel to it. Like I feel like my skin doesn't look very matte and satin. It kind of has a glow within it. They both feel really good on my skin. I don't feel like I'm wearing a lot of makeup. It's not cakey, flaky. It feels pretty nice. I'm actually impressed with them. I'm just gonna finish the rest of my makeup. I'm gonna do my eyes, my eyebrows, and then for my skin makeup, I'm just gonna bronze a little bit, use a little bit of concealer as well, and a tiny bit of powder, because I really wanna see what these foundations do and how they perform throughout the day. So right now it is 2:43. I'll do a couple hourly checks to see how the foundations are working. I'm just gonna do the rest of my makeup and I will see you in a couple hours. So I thought I would actually show you what my makeup looks like completely done. I just finished all my makeup. Now I'm going to do the wear test. Everything worked really well. I didn't have any problem with my concealers or blending out my bronzers on top of both of these foundations. I'm pretty impressed. Like I really love the way it's making my skin look on both sides. They seem really similar. The only difference I can say is the Dior one is just a touch more dewy than the Sephora brand. Okay, so the first official check-in. So far, this is my face. It looks a little bit more shiny just because I've been wearing it for a couple hours. You know, oil has been producing on my face. I've been moving, talking, eating. A lot of facial expressions like I usually do. So it's had time to wear on my skin. I'm not very oily and I'm okay with the amount of shine my face has. Like any shinier probably wouldn't be very happy. So maybe it's not the best foundation to control oil, but I don't look greasy. I just look luminous, if that makes sense. I don't know. This to me is everything I want in a foundation. Like a little bit of luminosity in the skin throughout the day because I don't want to look too dry and too flaky at the end of the day if I wear a foundation that's definitely for oil control because, you know, I tend to be on the drier side. But if we're talking about how my skin looks, it looks airbrushed. Like still, it looks so smooth. And when I was like taking pictures, yeah, I was taking a selfie, like even just like stupid Snapchats to my friends, my skin looked great. This foundation photographs really well. I was so surprised. Like I would take a picture and my skin would look so smooth. And I'm thinking to myself, whoa, that doesn't happen. So definitely that airbrush technology behind this foundation it's doing what it's supposed to do. However, on certain sides of my nose, it looks cakier. I'm just gonna zoom you in to my face so you can definitely see the details of the foundation a little bit better. And also just a side note, try to ignore that lash. I had to touch up my eyeshadow and then it was just a mess, so just saying. So on the side of my face, I have the Sephora Perfection Mist Foundation. You can definitely see the shine around my nose and it's starting to cake up just a little bit, but not as much as other foundations I've tried out in the past. It's staying on my nose pretty well. You know, foundations easily break up on the nose, but this did not move anywhere in this area. My forehead, the same situation. Like it looks smooth and there's nothing else I can say but airbrushed. Just the overall appearance of the foundation is just smoothing. So now I have the Dior side on my face. as you can see, like you can still see like little acne marks right here. Like I got one there. I have some texture right there. It didn't cover up the redness as much as the Sephora brand did. So if you want something that's gonna cover up everything and better at masking redness, definitely go for the Sephora one. But the results are pretty much the same. They're very like comparable. I feel like on this side, it didn't cake up as much as it did on this one, but it looks a little bit more oily. I've been wearing this foundation now for 5.5 hours, almost 6. So that is pretty good. Okay, so I am back with the final check-in of both of these foundations. My final thoughts and opinion about both of these foundations, they are a dupe for each other. They're exactly the same. This foundation wore pretty well on my skin. I've been wearing it now for 8 hours. It's 10:30 at night and I'm pretty impressed. It wasn't too cakey or thick on my skin. I definitely used a little bit less of the Sephora brand one, which is great because this is the inexpensive one compared to the expensive one. I also didn't talk about how much product's in here. You get more product with the Sephora one than the Dior, and you're paying less for the Sephora one than you are with the Dior. You have 75 milliliters for the Sephora one and only 70 milliliters in the Dior. It's 5 milliliters off, but hey, with these aerosol foundations, every little thing counts. Overall, I like these. I was surprised I liked these aerosol foundations more than I did just because they seem weird, unconventional, and messy, but they weren't as bad as I thought. Both of these foundations applied better with a brush, so if you're using these foundations, go in with like a large stippling brush, you know, something very dense to help pack on the foundation and press it into your skin. If I had to repurchase these foundations, I would definitely repurchase the Sephora one. However, the Dior one's really nice and I love the shade match that this one had compared to this one. It just dried a little bit darker. If I was a little bit darker, like let's say I got a little bit more sun in my skin, it would be a better match. The Sephora one definitely did the job for the price. Not to say the Dior one is not beautiful and equally as nice, it's just the price is better on this one. So if you wanted to try this Dior one out, try the Sephora one because they are very similar. Honestly, I can't tell that much of a difference on my skin. I hope this review was helpful for you guys and you kind of learned a little bit more about these foundations. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And like always, remember, sub it if you love it. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Jazz hands! We'll say the Sephora brand one. Oh, that's not the Sephora brand one. And then I'm gonna put a little bit more on that red area because she's pesky. She just wants to come to the party, but she's not invited. She didn't have VIP list, nothing. Not even like working the party. She's not invited, this red area. I don't want her here. Just pulled out 10 lashes. Oh, I hate eyelash glue. The Dior one is just a touch more dewy than the Sephora brand. What the fuck was that? I feel like there was a ghost there. I feel like I'm gonna go make some really cool street art, except the only art I can do is on my face, and even then so, it doesn't turn out always that great. La cucaracha, because I don't know the rest of the song properly. Porque él no falta, porque él no falta. I don't know. I'm Portuguese, not Spanish. I wish I was, but we have really good food. Oh, didn't get me started with pastel natas. Oh my god. I should do a Portuguese food mukbang. One day. One day I'm gonna do that.